Hi guys, welcome back to Harry Makes Up. Today I have a beautiful model crystal. We're going to be recreating this gorgeous blue kind of sapphire dual tone makeup look. Perfect for parties, evening makeup, perhaps you've got some holiday occasions coming up, some festive events you want to look really great for. This is a really beautiful eye look and it's one I did on beautiful Charity Wakefield for her makeup for the red carpet recently here in Los Angeles, and a lot of you guys were requesting the look, so I thought this would be a nice one, perfect for holidays. If you want to get the look, just keep watching. So first thing I'm going to start with on crystal is just a little bit of 8 Hour Cream by Elizabeth Arden, just so that when we come to doing the skin later, it's all nice and prepped and ready. So I will be doing the eyes first as well today. If there's any spill down or fall down, it makes it much easier to clear up later. So I want to get the skin really nice and plump, and you can see how much I've used of this Glossier Priming Rich Moisturiser, but I just want to get a good amount of this onto the skin while I'm doing the eyes, so the skin's lovely and plump for when we come to doing the base. And just, you can do quite a thick layer, you can be really generous with it. Just give it a lot of time for it to really sink into the skin. And this is a technique I do quite a lot when I do red carpet makeup, especially if I'm doing the eyes first. So when I'm doing a really smoky eye and I want it to last, I actually really like using a smudgy kohl to kind of give me a nice base. And one of my favourite ones is actually the Victoria Beckham for Estee Lauder one, and this is the Black Saffron. It is such a smudgy liner, you could literally do a whole smoky eye just with this pencil. But I'm just going to start, if you close for me, just going to start, we're going to get this in right at the roots of the lashes. And just look up for me as well, Jane. And we're going to go into the waterline, because I did do that on the day on Charity as well. And again, it's going to look a little bit scary and intense at the beginning, but we're just going to smudge it all out. So you want to do a few extra dots as well. And it just really gives the powder something to grip to as well. And then I'm going to take just a smudger brush, if you close your eyes, and we're just going to work that into the lash line. So there's a really, really dark black lash line. I find especially when you're working with kind of jewel tones or anything with shimmers in, especially if there's any metallic in it, you kind of need the black lash line to really offset the colour. If you feel like you have smaller eyes and you're worried about making them look smaller, obviously you can skip going in the waterline and just take a little bit of that under the lash line instead. And then I usually just tend to kind of wing it out a little bit at the corner, so you don't have to, you can keep it closer to your natural eye shape. I just like giving a little bit of a wing just to extend the eye. And over, Frida. Beautiful. So for the next part of the look, I'm going to use some of these Chanel eyeshadows, and these are so, so beautiful. This blue is limited edition. If at the time of filming this video this is not available, I'll make sure I put some other options down in the description box, as well as some cheaper alternatives as well. So the key to this look really is layering, and the first shade we're going to use is Carbon, which I would describe as like a very, very dark, deep matte grey, which is a really important part of creating the intensity within this look. So I'm going to go to a Zoeva buffing brush, and if you close your eyes with me, down, and I'm just going to start taking this over the lid. So this is why we do the foundation last, just makes it a little bit easier should there be any kind of fall down. And these eyeshadows by Chanel are much more pigmented than their normal shadows. They have a really nice intensity, they blend beautifully, and again, because we've got that nice dark lash line now, we can really build. So I'm going to take this brush by Tom Ford, and then I'm just going to start buffing. So we kind of buff as we go along. So this is the colour I actually used on Charity, and it is this beautiful blue by Chanel. I feel like blue eyeshadow can so easily go wrong. It's one of those colours that's actually very difficult to pull off and it look expensive. But this colour is beautiful. It has just the right amount of shimmer, a very beautiful kind of dual tone sapphire blue. So just tap a little bit of the excess off as well, and just close me down. It's just such a pretty colour blue. So we're just working this now over the top. Again, don't worry about any fall down. And just blending that in. And using the grey underneath just gives out that little bit more depth. So it's not kind of a full-blown blue. It gives it a little bit more smokiness, a little bit more subtlety. And then I'm just layering the blue so it goes that little bit deeper at the lash line. So you can see the blue is looking absolutely phenomenal on beautiful crystal. And I think it just goes to show as well that even with blue eyes, a blue shadow still looks really striking. I think there's almost this myth that you always have to do kind of enhancing colours or opposite colours. but I think blue just looks stunning. It's such a classic colour. And again, I think wearing it this way, it's just very, very effortless. It's still got a feel of it being a little bit smudgy, a bit rock and roll, and not too perfect. So just making sure the blue is nice and intense. I'm gonna run that, just look up for me, darling. I'm gonna run that as well underneath the lash line, because with that kohl, that Estee Lauder Victoria Beckham kohl, it really grabs the blue pigment in a really beautiful way. And I'm just using what's left on the brush now, just to have a little tidy up, just sort of buff in any extra bits that I feel want a bit of extra blending. So now I want to amp up the black a little bit more, just to make sure that lash line stays nice and dark and intense. And I've got to say, one of my favourite crayons for adding intensity is the Laura Mercier. These are the Caviar Stick Eye Colour, and this is Tuxedo. Really beautiful black shade, and I'm actually kind of using it on the brush. So close your toe. And I'm just going to take this back into the lash line, just so it stays really nice and smoky. And just kind of wiggling it into the roots backwards and forwards. And again, we'll just take a little bit of that underneath as well, just to balance the blue, so it's not kind of like a solid block shaped blue. Then for lashes, we do want to have thick black mascara, and I'm going to put some corners on as well, just to give that little extra kind of flick and wing out of the eye. So I'm going to take Tarte's Gifted Mascara. We do want lots of mascara on the bottom as well, so look up for me, Joe. And you need the black really just to offset that kind of sapphire blue. The two together work really, really well. So again, I'm just going to go in and give a nice thick black lash. So just to intensify the eyes a little bit more and just give that extra winged out shape, I'm going to apply some corner lashes. These are the Ardell 301s. And the reason I'm using these is instead of, I used individual lashes on the day. They work beautifully, but I definitely find corner lashes are a bit easier to put on yourself if you're at home. So just going to give them a little bend just in my fingers and my tweezer, so they fit easier to the eye shape. So just give them a little bend, and I'm working with duo glue, so I'm just going to pop some glue on and just leave it to dry for like 15 seconds. So I'm just going to line it up with Crystal's natural lash line and just let that adhere. So just kind of tucking the corners in, making sure it's on her actual lash line. And honestly guys, if you're at home, this is just such an easier alternative to individuals. And if you don't have half lashes, you can always take a normal pair of strip lashes and just cut them in half and just use the ends, especially if they're kind of like a wispy style or something like that. Cool, so we'll just let the glue dry clear on those. They'll be dry in sort of like another 30 seconds or so. So now we're going to move on to base. Now the eyes are all done. Again, just give the lashes a little time to set. And you guys know I've been loving the Kogen Dough foundation at the minute, and this one is the High Definition Makeup Aqua Foundation. And I feel like this is as close to a Your Skin But Better foundation as you can get. It really lets your freckles show through. It is buildable, but it's very, very light. And I think with this kind of eye look, you just need something to balance the heavy eyes. So you want the skin to glow and just have a real skin look on. So I'm just going with a MAC stipple brush. Just going to start to apply that over the skin, just to buff it in, because you want a nice clean canvas as well with this eye. So make sure you've cleaned under the eye really, really well. And turn that way a bit from your toe. And I'm kind of using it mostly around the centre of the face and just buffing out to nothing. And again, you can always like cheat your eye shape a little bit stronger now as well if you feel like anything still looks a little bit messy or needs a little bit more tweaking. This is where you can use your foundation to kind of cheat the look a bit. So for brows, I'm still in love with these Charlotte Tilbury Legendary brows, and I'm just going to take, if I pop you that way a bit, Crystal, I'm going to take Brigitte, because I love, love, love Crystal's brows. They're just so fluffy and beautiful, and I just don't really want to add to them. I just want to kind of groom them a little bit, and this just sets the hairs really, really nicely. And then just take a bit more mascara just to work the lashes in to the falsies. Let down for me, so just work those all in together. And I'm just going back in, if you look up for me, down with a little bit more kohl, because you do need the lash line, like I said, to really offset the blue. Now on the day, I did use a brightening colour on the inside, just in the corner of the eye to pop around here, and it was from a discontinued Chanel palette, so I'm just going to use something else that's very, very similar. So as I said, the Chanel one I used on the day on Charity is discontinued, but I wanted to work with this gorgeous Hourglass palette from the new holiday collection. for the rest of the base in general. So I'm going to pop a little bit of the strobing colour just in the inner corners of the eyes. A little bit into that inner corner, it just opens up the eye a little bit more as well. So for concealer on the day, I use the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. A lot of you guys often ask me about these, and what I will say is they are incredible. However, the tiniest amount goes a long way, and I find they're very matte in finish, so you don't really want too much powder, if any, if you can get away with it on top. So I'm going to mix medium and light for Crystal. And you know, with the base, again, I think that's kind of giving me most of the coverage I want. I just need the lightest finishing touch just under the eyes. And I'm using a Real Techniques setting brush, but there's hardly any product. And we're literally just going to dot the tiniest amount under the eyes. And again, if you feel that any of the blue has kind of come down and you just want to make sure it's all really balanced and no darkness under the eye, this is a really great concealer. But just start with less and kind of build up where you need it. So I'm also using it just to kind of lift on the outer corner of the eye. A little bit of that around the nose. Just a little bit. And that's about it for concealer, guys. Just very small amounts, just to kind of naturally highlight under those high points. Just lift the eye subtly as well, and just a little bit, just to bounce any shadows from the dark shadow. So as I said, I'm going to go back to this beautiful palette by Hourglass, and I'm just going to take a little bit of dim light. Absolutely love this one. Just to pop a little bit where I'm going to use the powders. And because this was a red carpet look that was going to have to last a long time, and for TV afterwards as well for charity, I wanted to make sure that I used powders. So powders for me, I like still to use very lightweight ones, so nothing that looks heavy or cakey on the skin. And for me, dim light still has a little bit of kind of light reflection in, so it just lifts the skin, stops anything looking too flat as well. And then I'm going to use a little bit of the bronzer, the same brush, just to warm up the areas that I want to add a really soft glow. And turn that way a bit for you, don't. And into the hairline as well. And then I did actually use the tiniest bit of the pink blush within the palette, just a little bit onto the cheeks, just so it didn't look too flat. And then back in with that gorgeous strobe colour, just a little bit on the tops of the cheekbones, a little bit more there, and a little bit on the Cupid's bow. And that's it for kind of powder contour blush, just something soft. Again, if you feel like you've gone too far, you can always take a cotton pad and just kind of wash it over the skin just to take it back and knock it back one level. So then for lips, it was Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk. I still absolutely love this, guys. It's so nice as well. And I really like the kind of soft pinky peach lip that we did with this blue eye look. I think for me, when you're going for a statement eye like this, it's really nice to play the lip down a little bit. And again, to make it last, just kind of fill the lip in with the lip pencil. So then I'm going to use this gorgeous pencil by NARS. This is one of their lip pencils, the satin ones, and the name has rubbed off, but I will make sure I put it across the screen what it's called. It's just a very nice kind of Barbarella-y, kind of really nice peach that's really nice with the pink lip liner. The two kind of just blend together for the perfect nude lip. Really nice. And close down. And it's kind of like a cream finish, but not so creamy that it looks too much with the eye. And just don't forget those inner corners as well, guys. And with your finger, just kind of smush it into the lip a little bit so it looks a little bit more worn in, just to go with the eye. So that's the finished look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what looks you'll be wearing for this party season. Have a wonderful, happy holidays, whatever you're doing. I'd love it if you subscribe, and I'll see you soon for more videos. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.